Ladies and gentlemen, the most powerful tool you possess isn't your job, your bank account, or your education. It's your attitude. When harnessed with precision, a positive mental attitude becomes the engine that drives success, resilience, and unstoppable confidence. Today, we're going to unlock the secrets of cultivating a mindset so strong, no challenge can break it. Ready to build that unshakable inner foundation? Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever stopped to consider what you're saying to yourself when no one else is around? That constant voice inside your head, is it lifting you up or slowly tearing you down? Here's the truth. Your mind is always listening. Every word you whisper to yourself, whether in silence or frustration, becomes the blueprint for your attitude, and your attitude determines everything. You see, before a single action is taken, before one step is made, there is a thought. And that thought, it's either planting seeds of growth or digging trenches of defeat. So the question becomes, what kind of thoughts are you planting? Most people don't realize this, but your internal dialogue is the very foundation of your mental world. It's not the world outside that decides your destiny, it's how you interpret it inside. You stub your toe in the morning and think, just my luck. Today's going to be terrible. And guess what? It is. Not because the day itself changed, but because you did. The mind is a remarkable machine. It believes what you tell it, especially when you say it over and over again. You say you're tired, it agrees. You say you can't do it, it shuts down. But if you say, I've got this, I'll find a way, I'm stronger than this moment, it wakes up, fires up, and starts to work for you. But here's the trap. We speak to ourselves more harshly than we ever would to a friend. We criticize, we doubt, we fear, yet we expect to grow. We expect to rise. If you truly want to develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude, then the very first thing you must do is discipline your inner dialogue. Catch the negative thoughts. Replace them immediately. Don't let your mind wander unchecked, like a garden overrun with weeds. Cultivate it, train it, guard it like your future depends on it. Because it does. Imagine waking up each day and hearing your own mind say, you are capable, you are focused, you are moving forward. What would that version of you accomplish? How far could you go if your thoughts stopped sabotaging you and started serving you? That's not a fantasy, that's a decision. A decision to speak only what empowers, to think only what uplifts. Yes, the world will still bring challenges, but your response will change everything. Your mind, once trained, becomes your ally, never your enemy. So I'll leave you with this. If you had a friend who spoke to you the way you sometimes speak to yourself, would you keep them around? Think on that. And while you do, ask yourself one more question. What happens when we take that new inner voice and we apply it to moments of failure, setback, or even rejection? That is where we're headed next. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that failure isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher? Would you believe me? You see, the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck isn't that one group avoided defeat, it's that they used it. They took the punch, they hit the wall, they fell flat on their face, and instead of staying down, they asked, what can I learn from this? That's the secret, turning defeat into fuel. Every setback, every disappointment, every rejection is life asking you a simple question. How bad do you want it? And your answer isn't in what you say, it's in what you do next. Let's be honest, failure hurts. It stings, it breaks your momentum, but it also breaks your ego, and sometimes that's exactly what needs to happen. Because only when the ego steps aside can the real work begin. Defeat is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. You can't build strength without resistance. You can't build wisdom without mistakes. And you certainly can't build an unbreakable mindset by running from the lessons that only failure can teach. The question is, what do you do with defeat? Do you let it define you, or do you dissect it, learn from it, grow because of it? Winners aren't those who never lose. They're the ones who never let the loss control the story. They write the next chapter anyway. Think of the times you've been knocked down. Did you stay down because it was hard, or because you started believing it wasn't meant for you? That's the danger. When defeat gets inside your head, it whispers lies like, "You're not good enough." But now you know better. The most powerful thing you can do after a loss is decide that it will not have the final word. Use it, study it, break it apart. Ask yourself, what can I gain from this pain? That's how defeat becomes fuel. Fuel to climb higher. Fuel to fight smarter. Fuel to become someone stronger than you were yesterday. Because once you learn to use your losses, they stop breaking you and start building you. And here's the truth: you can't master your mind without facing trials. You can't build a positive mental attitude if you crumble every time things don't go your way. This journey demands resilience, it demands perspective, and it demands a choice to rise when every part of you wants to give up. Now, if you're wondering where that inner fire comes from, if you're asking, how do I stay focused when everything's falling apart? Then get ready, because up next, we're going straight into the one thing that gives thought its power. And without it, you're just wishing in the wind. Think about this: every great invention, every major success, every dream turned reality started the same way, not with money, not with luck, but with a thought. One single. The mind, when focused and disciplined, becomes the most fertile soil in the world. Whatever you plant in it, viv good or bad, will grow. That's not a maybe, that's a guarantee. Your mind doesn't argue with the seeds you sow. It simply takes what you give it and multiplies it. Plant doubt, you'll reap hesitation. Plant fear, you'll harvest regret. But plant belief, ambition, and clear intention, and watch how fast things start to change. Here's what most people don't realize: a single dominant thought, obsessed over, fed daily, and nurtured with emotion, becomes real, not through magic, but through momentum. Because once a thought takes root, your actions start to align with it. Your decisions follow it. Your habits begin to reflect it. You think success, you'll speak success, you'll walk into rooms differently, you'll look people in the eye, you'll show up early, you'll stay late. And that energy, that belief, becomes contagious. But there's a warning here. You can't plant success on Monday and expect a harvest by Tuesday. The mind needs repetition, consistency, and patience. You must water your thoughts with daily focus, feed them with clarity, and protect them from the weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity. Because let me tell you something: just one careless thought, one moment of giving in to the wrong inner voice, can undo days, even weeks of progress. That's why the dominant thought matters most. What are you thinking about the most? What do you dwell on, day in and day out? If the answer isn't aligned with where you want to go, then something has to change, because your life, your results, your reality is simply a mirror of what you've planted in your mind. So start planting intentionally. Start thinking the way the version of you who already made it would think. What would they say to themselves every morning? What would they focus on, no matter what the world throws at them? That's the mindset that builds a life on purpose, not by accident. And once you get control of your thoughts, once you start planting the right seeds with certainty, the path ahead becomes clearer than ever. But now, let's take it further. What happens when that clear thought is connected to a purpose so strong, so definite, it pulls you like a magnet? That is what we're unlocking next. Let's get straight to the point. No one ever achieved greatness by accident. No one ever stumbled into success or drifted into fulfillment. If you look closely at every person who's built something meaningful, you'll find one thing at the center of it all: a definite purpose, a clear, unwavering aim, something that isn't vague or optional, but absolute. And once that purpose is locked in, the mind stops wandering, the energy stops scattering, everything, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude begins to align. A person without a definite purpose is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave, spun by every current. One minute excited, the next discouraged. One day full of potential, the next paralyzed by doubt. But give that same person a reason, a mission, a burning why, and suddenly everything changes. They wake up earlier, they push through harder. Obstacles don't stop them, they sharpen them. You see, a definite purpose gives your attitude direction. It gives your thoughts power. Without purpose, positive thinking becomes wishful thinking. But with it, every positive thought becomes a command. Every decision becomes intentional. When your purpose is clear, you stop asking, "Should I do this?" and start declaring, "This must be done." That shift is where power begins. Now let's make something crystal clear. Your purpose isn't just a goal. A goal is something you hit. A purpose is something that pulls you. It pulls you through setbacks. It pulls you through fatigue. It pulls you through failure, because the vision is bigger than the problem. And here's what's even more powerful. When your purpose is definite, your attitude becomes unbreakable. Why? Because you've already decided. You're not questioning, you're not doubting, you're not wondering if it's worth it. You know it is. This is why people with no direction get shaken so easily. A little criticism, and they fold. A few challenges, and they quit. But those with a definite purpose, they keep moving forward, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. So let me ask you, what's your definite purpose? What is so meaningful, so personal, so clear that quitting simply isn't an option? When you answer that, your energy shifts, your clarity sharpens, your attitude stops bending with the weather and starts cutting through storms. But purpose alone isn't enough. There's one more ingredient, something that turns thought into belief and belief into power. So now the real question is, how do you ignite the fire that fuels this purpose? Even when nothing around you seems to be working, we're going there next. Let's talk about something most people underestimate: burning, not just wanting something, not just hoping, but craving it so deeply it consumes your thoughts, your actions, your time. Burning desire isn't a maybe, it's not a "we'll see," it's an absolute must. And once that kind of desire takes root, it becomes the fuel behind every move you make. You've seen it before: people with average talent, limited resources, no big advantages, but somehow they win. They climb, they build, they break through barriers others call impossible. Why? Because they didn't just wish for it, they burned for it. When your desire is strong enough, it overrides fear, it pushes you through rejection, it silences the noise. Because the truth is, the world doesn't move for passive wishes, it moves for relentless energy. A burning desire creates clarity. You don't waste time on distraction. You don't wonder what you're meant to do. You know, and when you know, your confidence becomes magnetic. You walk differently. You speak differently. You don't beg for opportunity. You create it. Now understand this: desire alone won't deliver the prize, but it will unlock the drive, the focus, the mental stamina to keep going. And that's what separates the ones who dream from the ones who do. The question is, what do you desire so intensely that you're willing to trade your comfort for it? Your old habits, your excuse? Because once you light that fire inside, you won't wait for the perfect time. You won't wait for motivation. You'll move because the desire won't let you stay still. Desire pulls ideas out of you that fear used to hide. Desire turns obstacles into puzzles, problems into possibilities. It doesn't eliminate pain, but it makes the pain worth it. The strongest desire is born when your purpose is personal, when it touches your identity, when it's not just about the outcome, but about who you become by chasing it. And here's where it gets even more powerful. When your desire is backed by decision, real decision, it becomes unstoppable. No plan B, no escape routes, just one path forward. So ask yourself right now, is your desire burning or barely flickering? Because that fire is the force that makes a positive mental attitude unshakable. It gives your thoughts purpose, it gives your actions energy, and it gives your belief power. But hold on, there's something else that turns this desire into real-world momentum. It's not just how much you want it, it's how deeply you believe it's already yours. And that is exactly where we're going next. Let's make something clear right now. You can have the right thoughts, you can have a definite purpose, you can even have a burning desire, but if you don't believe it's possible, it all falls apart. Belief is the engine. Belief is the force that turns thought into action, and action into results. It's not a bonus, it's not optional. Without belief, you're stuck at the starting line, spinning your wheels, wondering why things never take off. But when you truly believe deep down, without hesitation, that what you want is already on its way, that's when everything shifts. You start walking like it's yours, talking like it's yours, planning, executing, and showing up like the outcome is inevitable. And here's the secret. Belief doesn't wait for proof. It creates proof. It acts when there's no guarantee. It steps out even when the path isn't clear. Most people wait to believe until they see results. But the ones who win, they believe first and the results follow. That's not blind faith. That's mental discipline. That's a decision to own the vision before it becomes visible. Now you might be thinking, how do I believe when everything around me says I can't? How do I believe when I've failed before, been doubted, been rejected? And the answer is simple, but powerful. You choose. You choose to believe again, and again, and again. You feed your mind with images of victory. You repeat the vision until it becomes louder than the fear. You build belief like a muscle by using it every single day. Because belief isn't something you hope for, it's something you train. And here's the beautiful part. The more you believe, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the more action you take. And the more action you take, the more proof you create. It's a cycle, a loop, and it always starts with belief. Your subconscious doesn't ask what's real. It listens to what's repeated. So what are you telling it? Are you feeding it hesitation or conviction? Are you programming fear or certainty? Because the moment you begin to speak, walk, and act as if you cannot fail, your world starts shifting to match that belief. Doors open, opportunities show up, people take notice, but none of it happens without belief. So I'll ask you now, do you believe it's already yours? Do you believe you have what it takes to claim it, build it, and live it? Because when that belief becomes unshakable, your positive mental attitude becomes bulletproof. But belief alone still isn't the full picture. Because once you believe, you're going to be tested. And in that test, there's only one thing that separates those who rise from those who disappear. Get ready, because now we're stepping into the force that makes belief stick. Even when the world says, let me tell you something, most people overlook. Persistence is the master key. You can have desire, you can have belief, you can even have the perfect plan, but without persistence, it all fades the moment things get tough. Because here's the truth, the road to anything worthwhile will test you. It won't ask if you're ready. It'll push you, break you, disappoint you. It'll whisper, turn back, this isn't for you. And that's when most people quit, but not the ones who understand the power of persistence is what keeps you moving. When the fire of motivation dies down, it's what keeps your vision alive. when the results don't show up on schedule. It's the quiet force, the inner strength, the mental armor that says, I will not stop until it's mine. People love to talk about big dreams, but dreams without persistence, they stay locked in the mind. It's only through consistent, determined, daily effort that those dreams become visible. And let's be clear, persistence isn't about grinding without thinking. It's about adjusting, adapting, evolving, but never retreat. Even when doors close, even when support disappears, even when progress is slower than you hoped. Because if you stop when it gets hard, that just means your desire wasn't strong enough. But if you keep going, especially when it gets hard, you become unstoppable. Think back. How many times have you quit something right before it got good? Right before the breakthrough? That's how this game works. It hides the reward behind the resistance. But if you push through that resistance, if you show up on the hard days, if you keep knocking when no one's answering, eventually something gives. And here's the magic. Every time you persist, you prove to yourself that you're built for more. You build mental muscle. You build resilience. And most of all, you build trust in yourself. Because when the world says no, and you say, I'm not leaving, the world eventually moves out of your way. That's the power of persistence. It doesn't guarantee that you'll get everything you want right away, but it guarantees you'll never settle for less. So if you're tired, if you're frustrated, if you're wondering if it's worth it, let me say this loud and clear. Keep going. One more call, one more day, one more step, because the moment you quit, you erase everything you've already endured. Now ask yourself, if persistence is what carries belief through the storm, what force is it that keeps the spirit alive, even when your body, your mind, and your circumstances say it's over? That invisible force, that vibe you carry, is exactly what we're diving into next. There's something powerful, something invisible, that every successful person carries, no matter where they start from. It's not luck, it's not education. It's enthusiasm. Now wait, don't confuse enthusiasm with noise. It's not about shouting or being overly excited. It's a spark, a deep inner vibration that says, I believe in what I'm doing. And when you believe, people feel it, even if you never say a word. Enthusiasm is a magnet. It attracts people, it attracts ideas, it brings energy to the table that logic can't explain. And the best part, it doesn't cost a dime. You don't need permission to use it. You don't need perfect circumstances to feel it. You choose to bring it or not. Think about it. Have you ever watched someone talk about something they love? Their eyes light up, their energy rises, and suddenly you care too. Not because the subject is exciting, but because they are. That's what enthusiasm does. It turns ordinary words into inspiration. It turns tough situations into opportunities. It's the fuel that makes persistence possible. Because when you're enthusiastic, you don't just get through challenges, you attack them with passion. But here's the problem. Most people kill their own enthusiasm before the world even has a chance to see it. They doubt themselves. They say, what if it doesn't work? They water down their energy to fit in, to play it safe. Let me tell you right now, enthusiasm is your edge. It's your advantage in a world full of average. When you show up with real passion, with fire in your tone, with belief in your body language, people notice. Doors open, opportunities rise, and more importantly, you feel alive. Because enthusiasm isn't just for others. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you in motion. It reminds you that what you're doing matters. It's easy to be enthusiastic when everything's going right. But the real test, can you keep that fire when nothing's going your way? When the results are delayed, the support is silent, and the work feels heavy, that's when enthusiasm becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a discipline. You bring it because your vision demands it. You bring it because your attitude depends on it. And when you live like that, you become you undeniable. So let me ask you, Are you speaking your goals with conviction? Are you facing your tasks with energy? Are you infecting your environment with belief, passion, and excitement? Because the ones who move the world don't just think big, they feel big. They bring a contagious enthusiasm that transforms every room they enter. But even that isn't the full picture. There's one more element, one more habit that keeps your mind elevated, your energy clean, and your attitude invincible. And it all begins with what you allow into your world. Let's go there next. Here's something most people never stop to consider. What are you allowing into your mind every single day? Because the truth is, your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant grows. Positive thoughts, they bloom into confidence, action results. Negative thoughts, they spread like weeds, slow, silent, and destructive. So the real question is, what are you feeding your mind? Every conversation you have, every video you watch, every headline you scroll past, every person you listen to, it all leaves an imprint. And most people, they don't even realize it. They let the world dump fear, doubt, distraction, and noise into their most powerful tool, their thinking. If you want to develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude, you must become the guardian of your mind. That means saying no to gossip, no to toxic people, no to drama, confusion, and negative narratives. Because even 5 minutes of the wrong influence can derail an entire day of progress. It doesn't matter how strong your goals are, if your environment is tearing you down when you're not looking. Start paying attention. Who are you spending time with? What are they talking about? Are they lifting your standards or lowering them? What are you reading? What are you watching? Does it make you feel stronger or smaller? You don't rise above your environment, you rise with it. So if you're serious about growth, you've got to make some tough choices. You've got to cut off what weakens your spirit and seek out what strengthens your belief. Because here's what happens. When you protect your mind, you protect your energy. When you protect your energy, you protect your focus. And focus is the most valuable currency in your life. When your focus is sharp, your attitude becomes powerful. When your attitude is powerful, your actions follow. And when your actions follow, your results transform. So be deliberate, be intentional, be ruthless if you have to, because you can't afford to let the outside world control your inner world. Build a shield around your thinking. Surround yourself with voices, messages, and influences that push you higher. Because when you control what goes in, you control what comes out. And soon, the impossible starts to feel possible. The heavy starts to feel light, and your attitude becomes unshakable. But there's still one more piece to this puzzle, something that connects all of these principles into one powerful strategy. Because no matter how sharp your mind is, how big your desire, how strong your belief, if you miss this last piece, you'll always feel like something's missing. Get ready, because what comes next is the final ingredient to mastering a positive mental attitude for life. You've come this far absorbing every idea, every spark of insight. But now it's time to bring everything together into one powerful, unstoppable force. The final secret, the ultimate principle, is taking decisive action. Because all the desire, belief, enthusiasm, persistence, and mental control in the world means nothing if you don't move. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's the test that separates the thinkers from the doers. It's the step that transforms positive mental attitude from a theory into a living, breathing power within you. But here's the catch. Action without direction is just noise. Action without commitment is just busy work. And action without persistence is just a flicker, destined to fade. So you must take decisive, purposeful action. You must move with clarity, with focus, with confidence. Every day, no matter how small the step, no matter how steep the climb. Remember, success isn't a giant leap. It's a series of small wins, stacked one on top of another. Consistent action builds momentum. Momentum builds belief. Belief powers more action. It's a cycle, a rhythm, and the heartbeat of a positive mental attitude. You may face doubt, fear, setbacks, even failure. But when your action is grounded in your burning desire, fueled by your unshakable belief, and guided by your persistent enthusiasm, nothing can stop you. So now I ask you, will you wait for the perfect moment that or will you take the first step right now toward your vision? Because the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that simple choice to take that step, make that call, write that plan, and watch how your positive mental attitude transforms your world. This is your moment, your chance to build the unbreakable mindset you've always wanted. Step forward with courage, and the rest will follow. The journey begins now.